So here we are at Chakan for another KTM launch. This one is especially closer to my heart. This is the all-new RC200. And this time around, KTM have gone for two main things. One is to make it faster, and second is to make it a more easier motorcycle to live with. So with the first part, now this one makes the same amount of power, also weighs exactly the same as the old bike. So in case you're wondering how exactly have they made it faster, well, just look at the bodywork. This has been done on purpose to make the RC more slippery, more aerodynamic, and the same principle applies to the side fairing as well. The second thing what they've done is they've made it lighter. This one has a 13.7 litre tank compared to the 9.5 on the old bike, and still it weighs exactly the same. So that gives you an idea about the kind of weight reduction that has gone in, and that is mainly done to reduce the unsprung weight. Wheels now are completely new and they weigh about almost a kg or 1.5 kgs less than the previous models. This now is replaced by a bigger 320mm disc, and if you look at the design, even that has been done with the intention of making it lighter. Then if you move to the back, you have the new bolt-on subframe. With this iteration, they have managed to make this just as rigid and just as light, or the entire frame weighs about the same as the one on the previous bike. So that's the weight reduction part. Then what they've also done is the changes they've made to the geometry. So now, if you look at the way I'm sitting, the saddle now is a lot more spacious. There's a lot more room to move around, even for a tall guy like me. Here, because of the new seat design, because of the new subframe. Also, if you look at the reach, it's a lot easier because the clip-ons now sit almost 10 mm higher, and also the fork travel has increased by 10 mm. So you have a bike which is much easier to tuck behind the windscreen. You have a lot of room to move around, and you have potent braking system and an engine which has been remapped to get the most out of it. So how does all of that come together on the racetrack? Well, that just makes the RC so much more enjoyable. So on the old RC, you had to put in a lot of effort. It was very aggressive, very pointy. So you had to be really fit to be able to extract the most out of it. With this one, with the raised clip-ons, it's much easier now. You have really good leverage to tip the bike into a corner. So it goes into a corner very, very quickly. And also because of the reduction in the unsprung weight, it is so fast in the change of direction. It also brakes so much better. You can also feel it accelerate that much harder. Even the transitions from leaning the bike in one corner onto the other was very, very easy. But I have to say, and this is like a good thing and a bad thing, because previously I've always had a problem with the rear shock of the RC being too soft, where the front was nice and taut and pointy. Now with the increase in the travel for the forks, the suspension overall has become a little on the softer side, but balanced. But when you start pushing, it is a softer setup. It is more set up for the road. On the track, I think the biggest Achilles heel for the RC200 were the tires. The tires are the single biggest thing which is stopping you from extracting the most of the RC with all of these updates, because the bike is much easier to ride now, which coaxes you to go into corners that much faster. And that's where, especially on the edge with the lip that this tire has, it starts squatting and the rear wants to come around very, very quickly. Now that this has become much easier to ride, a lot of newcomers will also get to that threshold very, very quickly. The second thing it impacts is the potency of the brakes. Now the brakes are really potent. You have a really strong bite, really good progression, really good feel. But when you get on them really hard, the stopping power overpowers the amount of grip, the amount of traction available from the tires, which then in turn kicks in the ABS and increases your braking distance. So I think just by swapping the tires, the RC would be completely transformed into a much more enjoyable machine here on the track. On the road is when we'll understand about how comfortable it is now to ride with the revised ergonomics with the more upright clip-ons. Also the changes that they've made to the radiator, it's now curved, so the impact that has on the heat management. And also the seats, now the seats are wider, they have more padding to make it comfortable for the rider as well as the pillion. The mirrors are foldable, which is really cool. One more thing worth noting is this finally gets the LCD screen that we have seen on the 250 Adventure. So yeah, considering that this costs exactly the same as the old bike, I think you're getting really good value for money. This has the makings of an RC, which is perhaps the most livable RC of all that we have seen so far. But there you have it, guys. Those are my first impressions. I can't wait to ride it more. And if you have any more questions, hit them up in the comment section below and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Until then, ciao.